By the way, speaking of basketball, Caitlin Clark now has the rookie record, the history of the WNBA, as she's now going to try to set the all-time record, but 12 games to go.
Another game, another run-in with history. It's almost becoming boring just how many records Caitlin Clark has been able to break in her first season. A vast majority of women's basketball players don't accomplish this much in their entire careers as much as she's been able in 3/4 of her rookie season. If she continues on this path, she'll be able to break even more records and complete a rookie season for the ages. While her success should be talked about and celebrated, there are some that would like nothing more than see Caitlin Clark fail. Dan Patric, the legendary sports commentator, had a few choices words for these people. Let's see how Dan Patric slammed Angel Reese and her supporters after Caitlin Clark played another record-breaking game. To put it in simplest terms possible, Caitlin Clark is reshaping what it means to be a rookie. Her court vision, instinctive playmaking, and relentless scoring have elevated her to a level few rookies ever reach. Whether she's up against seasoned veterans or leading her team in crucial moments, Caitlin consistently proves that she belongs among the league's elite.
No one like Caitlin Clark in the history of the WNBA.
It's not just about scoring the most points. No, there's an aura around Caitlin that is beyond words. We haven't seen anything like it. Sure, Ja Wilson is the best female player in the world, no question, but she doesn't have it like that. Also, we've seen girls that score like Caitlin Clark in college before. However, they didn't make a dent like this in the cultural zeitgeist. No one could do such a thing. That is, no one before Caitlin came along.
In the history of the WNBA, I mean, you had somebody who was the all-time leading scorer in college basketball history who plays for Las Vegas. And nobody talked about her. Nobody talked about Kelsey. Wonderful player. Nobody talked about her. Caitlin Clark is just different.
She's not perfect by any means. She could improve her shooting percentages and have less turnovers. But there's never been a female player with so much star power under such a magnifying glass that was able to deliver. Clark has delivered on every front. She brought the hype to the league. She adjusted to the play of the women's NBA. And she showed everyone that she was more than capable of carrying the burden of stardom on her back. Another thing people seem to leave out of the conversations about Caitlin Clark is her humility. Even though she's the biggest star in the league by far, she doesn't want to be treated as such. She just wants to be one of the girls. She wants to be treated as a serious player.
You know, if you're one of her teammates and she's coming in, and I said at the time, she will try to ingratiate herself as a teammate by passing first instead of shooting first. And that's exactly what's happened.
Caitlin is so unselfish that she'll probably end up leading the league in assists by the end of the year, even though she's the best scorer in college history. And that's when you count both male and female basketball players. But in the league, she's generous with the ball, playing like a pass first point guard. If that isn't a sign of greatness, we don't know what is. If you haven't been following the situation, you're probably wondering what record did Caitlin Clark break now. It's not a single record, it's multiple records. The latest one came in the game against the Connecticut Sun, where Caitlin knocked down 3 3-pointers and brought her total to a league best 88. This set a new rookie record for 3-pointers, previously held by the Atlanta Dream wing, Ryan Howard, since 2022. Caitlin took a beautiful step-back 3-pointer to hit her 86th three of the season and break the league record early in the game. Oh, the Fever also went on to win the game 8-4-8-0. If she continues playing this way, this won't be the last record she breaks this season. There's a good chance if she continues on this pace, she will become the first rookie to hit more than 100 threes in a season. She's currently top 3 in total 3-pointers, so there's a chance she might finish number 1, which would be nothing short of sensational. Leading the league in threes and assists would be special. Even if she ends up second and third in both categories, it will stand out. You have to understand that rookies aren't usually this good. They take time to adjust. Not Caitlin. She came right out of the gate as an elite shot maker and ball distributor. Okay, let's check some of the previous records Caitlin Clark has managed to break. Be prepared, because this list is long. There's the single game assist record with 19 on July 17th versus the Dallas Wings. On July 6th, Clark recorded the first triple-double for a rookie in women's NBA history during a game against the New York Liberty, marking also the first triple-double in Indiana Fever history. During the first half of the season, Clark became the first rookie in women's NBA history to record 400 points, 100 rebounds, and 150 assists in a single season. On June 7th, Clark made 7 3-pointers in Indiana's win over the Washington Mystics, setting a new rookie record. In August, Clark broke the record for most assists by a rookie, totaling 247 assists so far. But why did she start breaking records all of a sudden? Many haters will say that she did have a clanky start to the season. The haters are right about the rough beginning. However, there's a pretty clear explanation for that. Caitlin Clark's team had a really low schedule at the beginning of the season. They were playing some of the strongest teams in the league. She was also tired from playing a full college season right before the women's NBA season started. Unlike their male counterparts, women's NBA players have a relatively short time to rest between college and professional season.
They loaded up the schedule, front-loaded Caitlin Clark on a bad team, the worst team because they drafted her, number one. They were going to load up against better competition, and she played an entire college basketball season, and she didn't play well. And I said at the time, she didn't deserve to be on the Olympic team. And at the time, I felt that. But she got rest, the schedule not as demanding, and now you're seeing Caitlin Clark.
In college, many of her critics said that she's nothing more than a shooter, which just showed you that they didn't watch her games at all. Ever since she was young, Caitlin was a Swiss Army knife on the court. She can score, dish out assists, and rebound extremely well for someone playing at her position. If you watch her college games, you would know that. You can't comment on the game if you watch nothing more than highlights. Luckily for the fans, there are many people who actually keep an eye on games and see what is really going on.
And for everybody who talked about, she's just a shooter, she's already set the all-time rookie assist record.
She even plays good defense. In her professional career, she's recorded multiple games with multiple blocks and steals. Just remember, she isn't a center or then a forward that's in charge of handling an entire offense. Everything her team does goes through her on offense. So the fact that she tries on the other end of the court should be applauded. When you're discussing Caitlin V, Angel for Rookie of the Year, you should look at the situation objectively. Yes, Angel Reese is a Helluva player. We should be giving Angel her flowers. She's an excellent rebounder, defender, and she plays solid on offense despite her historically low shooting percentages.
The Rookie of the Year debate, Angel Reese is a wonderful player. She just had 20 rebounds. She's a double-double, guaranteed. Absolutely. But anybody who tries to sell you on this is selling you on something to get clicks. That's all this is. This is a phenomenon. Caitlin Clark is a phenomenon. And if I said to any of these people who think Caitlin Clark is not the Rookie of the Year, I'd say, who would you want to start your franchise with? Now, I'm not going to put Asia Wilson in there. I'm just saying between these two. Angel Reese is a wonderful player, but she does not compare to what and who Caitlin Clark is when she's on the basketball floor. Plain and simple.
But you can't compare the two at all. One landed on a decent team with another star rookie, while the other one went to one of the worst teams in the league and managed to turn things around. Let's say you were in charge of starting in women's NBA franchise right now. Who would you pick? The answer is pretty clear. We've already knew that Caitlin Clark was good. That's not a question anymore. But how good is she? She's so good that she not only became an all-star in her rookie year, but that she also took the all-star game home with her.
And today it's official. The WNBA All-Star Game is coming to Indianapolis. It's going to be here next summer in July, coming on the heels of the huge success of us hosting the NBA's All-Star Weekend earlier this year.
Of course, the selection of the venue certainly has something to do with the fact that Indianapolis hosted the last NBA All-Star Game and did such a wonderful job of it. However, it's also undeniable that the women's NBA is trying to capitalize on the popularity of Caitlin Clark, so they're planning on hosting the event in the arena she plays in. Not to mention, picking Indianapolis was a last-minute switch.
Well, Indy wasn't originally supposed to host the WNBA All-Star Game next year, but a scheduling conflict in a different city led to Indy getting a last-minute call.
Clark and the Fever are in the middle of a record-breaking season, and the momentum is growing around the women's NBA. So as the CEO of Pacer Sports, the owner of the arena where the All-Star Game will be held, admitted, the timing is simply perfect for the event.
Thanks, Lauren. Great timing, because as Lauren said, it's worth mentioning again, the Indiana Fever having a record-breaking year.
That's right. They just shared some of their midseason stats, so check it out. A more than 264% jump in ticket sales year to year.
Wow.
Nearly a 1,200% increase in jersey sales. 38 nationally televised games. 800 million video views on social media. And 1.8 million followers. No one else in the WNBA can top, and all of this is happening right here in Indianapolis.
Sure, not all parties are 100% on board. For instance, some members of the Dan Patric Show thought that the event could be held in another city.
Yes, Marvin?
And next season, the WNBA All-Star Game is going to be in Indianapolis.
Is
Good
that
idea?
a good thing? Yeah, Paulie said no.
I didn't think you needed to do it. The Clark goes wherever the All-Star Game is. You didn't need to necessarily you don't need to grow the game in Indiana right now. They're all good in Indianapolis with the state of the WNBA. I'd have taken Caitlin Clark and brought her to another city, whatever it may be. And I know it's a layup, no pun, to have it in Indiana. They're going to get a monster turnout. But I'd rather have her on the road bringing her game and everyone else's game to another city.
While it may be the most obvious option to bring the game to Caitlin, for everything she's done for the game and for the amount of people that will attend the weekend, we would say that it's more than worth it having the All-Star Game in Indianapolis. But no matter how many people Caitlin attracts to the game and how much money she generates for the women's NBA, some people will simply hate on her. But most of these people, unfortunately, are former women's NBA players. Sheryl Swoopes, one of the legends of the women's NBA, has made headlines recently not for celebrating the league's new rising star, Caitlin Clark, but for the criticism she's been throwing her way. Swoopes, a Hall of Famer with a storied career, seems to be less than impressed with Clark's rapid rise in the league. Swoopes even suggested that Clark's college career was exaggerated, accusing her of taking an unrealistic number of shots per game and overstating her achievements. But she didn't stop there. Swoopes continued undermining her play. Indiana Fever are playing so good that you can't just dismiss them. If you're a media personality, you have to talk about them. Sheryl was forced about them on a recent podcast, but she did so without even mentioning Caitlin.
I think the Olympic break really helped Indiana. I'm going to say shout out to Lexi Hull. I'm a big Lexi Hull fan. Watch her in AU. Kelsey Mitchell is just stroking. She is just shooting the basketball. Aaliyah Boston, almost a triple-double. I know we're talking about teams where they can move and things changing, but if Indiana continues to play the way they're playing like this, they too are going to move up in the standings.
All these ladies deserve praise. Basketball is a team sport after all, and Caitlin can't play all by herself. However, when you're praising a team for its great play, you have to mention their second leading scorer and leader in assists. That's just dishonest. Even when Clark was named Women's NBA Player of the Week after another stellar performance, Swoopes stayed silent during a game broadcast, refusing to acknowledge the young star's accolades.
Got to go to the players of the week. Both of them had outstanding weeks, and they're the next two opponents for the weeks. Caitlin Clark will be here on Sunday for the week, averaged 25, and Afisa Collier averaged over 25. Tough stretch for Dallas.
If that's not hating, we have no idea what hating is. Sheryl Swoopes is always first to point out Caitlin's flaws, but she never acknowledges her success and constantly puts other players above her, including her teammates. Until Caitlin starts winning titles and MVPs, we'll probably see people coming out of the woodworks to criticize her. What's worse, even if she manages to become the best player in the league, we doubt the haters will stop. There's a good chance they'll just continue grinding and throwing shade her way. But we all have to agree that she's a generational player. You don't have to think that she's the GOAT or anything this early in her career, but if you're honest with yourself, you have to admit that she's the best player on their team and that she's having one of the best rookie seasons in women's NBA history. That shouldn't be criticized, but celebrated. If you liked our video, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell for notifications. That way, every time we upload a new women's NBA video, you'll be notified instantly. Thank you for watching.